too. We're going to be talking with some folks from Station Camp this morning. Y'all come on in and get comfortable. Come on in and get seated. But and my Greenbrier kids, why are y'all talking to the Station Camp people? Because their teacher's my friend, and we go to church together, Jennifer Gatlin and I, and so she'd asked me about doing this, and I'm like, absolutely. So any of you local DECA chapters that want to come in and do this, you're absolutely welcome to come in and join us as well. Before we get started, kiddos, I just do need to plug real quickly. Today is Recovery Court graduation. We want to invite you to come out and be a part of it. Because we have just wonderful things happening there. It's going to be at the center. If you want to, they'll have some food for you at noon. Get there about 11:30 or so. It's usually a couple hours for the program, but we'll have a bunch of folks graduating from Recovery Court today. I am honored to be on the Recovery Court board and just very honored to be a part of that. So I've got a substitute teacher coming in for me today, so I can go and be a part of that as well, or at least at lunchtime I do. So I'll be there, and I hope y'all can join us as well. And so as we turn the microphones on, y'all got to get right up on these mics, and I'm going to need you guys to go around the room and just introduce yourselves. And so let's start over here to the right. What is your name, young man?
I'm Jesse Davis. I'm a senior at Station Camp High School, and this is my 4th year competing with our DECA chapter.
Okay, next.
I'm Emma, and I'm also a senior at Station Camp, and this is my 3rd year competing.
Okay, and finally?
My name's Chase, also a senior, and this is my 3rd year competing as well.
Okay, and I'll just say, you guys do an excellent job. I mean, y'all have so many cool things that y'all do, and I'm talking to your teacher, about how y'all have won a lot of awards. Y'all have really done great. And she was, right before y'all came in, kind of unpacking for me what y'all are doing this time. But let's just let you guys tell. Who wants to be the primary spokesperson there?
Oh, yeah, so I can.
Okay,
I can
right into that microphone for me. Turn it to where you're talking into the front of it. There you go.
Tell you a little about the history. So last year, our classmates, Cole and Rebecca, who I believe you had on the podcast as well, started to conquer the climb after discovering a lack of educational resources, career and technical skills, and soft skills training within the educational system to prepare students to enter the workforce. So this year, we kind of took over their project and switched the gears to aim towards helping veterans succeed in the workforce. So when we first started this project, we identified 3 main problems for veterans. They have difficulty re-entering society. There's a lot of lack of technical and career skills training from the military, and some employer discrimination. So in order to tackle these problems, we took over Conquer the Climb and made it into a Next Step initiative program that works to provide career and technical skills training and education to local veterans. And so the acronym CLIMB represents the 5 pillars of which our program is built off of. We seek to C, connect with the wide variety of veterans, promoting L, learning, by providing adequate educational resources, along with I, initiating individual success and confidence, while M, motivating them to continue to build on their skills. And so what we're looking to do this year is just work with veterans in like a close classroom type setting, and teach them career and technical skills to help them thrive in the workplace, whether it's in person working with them or like online workshops, which is something we've already started to do. So. Okay,
that's very cool. And so do you, because my son's a veteran, and he took advantage of being able to go to school. Do you kind of help them understand that and navigate that as well? Because as veterans, they do have some school opportunities as well. So do y'all explore that with them?
Yeah, so there is the vast majority of veterans usually enter the military right after high school. So there is a large percentage of veterans who haven't received like a college or next step education after high school. And so that is something we're helping to do, because for the military, they're open to so much benefits to help them with education after the military. So that's something we're also kind of pushing for them to do, is try to go back, get that degree. The military will help you do that, because that's just another way to help them re-enter the workforce and be more prepared.
Okay, go ahead. You look like you have something you want to say, so go right ahead.
We also found we've partnered with the Wounded Warrior Project, and meeting with one of our kind of connections, our main connection, Jacob. He kind of explained to us that there's really a lack of connection from going from the military and being in active duty to kind of re-entering society and helping them find jobs. And so if our goal is to help them not necessarily find the job, but get them ready for that job with interview skills, resume prep, making sure that they're wearing the right attire, that sort of thing. So we're not as focused on connecting them to the job, and we do have career fairs, people they can talk to, that sort of thing. But our main focus is getting them ready for that.
Those employability skills.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Very good. I love that. And so tell me, you may have said, when did y'all start this? How long has this been going?
Since August.
Yeah.
Since August. So this is a new initiative, and you're wanting to do the online kind of things, like what did you call that? The workshops, online workshops. And have you had one of those yet?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we just had
what did
one.
that unpack? What did it look like?
So it was I think it was Google Meets. It was just an online kind of Zoom type meeting with Jacob, who is the CEO of the Nashville office for Wounded Warrior Project. And so we had about 12 veterans join. We reached 20. We had 12 join from as far as even Las Vegas, so that was really cool. And so we prepared a slideshow to present them and share our screen with them. And we each of us had our own section. So I went over like building an impactful resume. I showed them like what to make sure to include on it, kind of the layout to make sure it looks professional, and gave them some good and bad examples of some good impactful professional resumes. Emma went over like professional.
Well, let them tell it, so we can get. So you did the resume section.
Yeah.
So what section were you in charge of?
So then I went over different types of professional dress. So whether that be kind of what situations would require business casual versus business professional versus just casual in the office, and kind of what that looks like, and making sure that you prepare yourself for the right scenario in the situation that you're going into.
Okay, very good. And then what was your section? What was your part that you specialized in?
Yeah, so I went over like building an application and how to properly fill it out, what to include, what not to include, and kind of explain like what jobs look for, kind of like going around those corners where maybe they ask a question, but the correct way to answer that will look better, and also how to have good interview skills. So not just applying for the job, but once you get accepted to the job, what's the next step for that?
Interview. What's the next step?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So give me some interview skills tips. I'm kind of curious. What would you?
So
I got a bunch of high schoolers about my home room at Greenbrier seniors, and they're it's starting to get real for them. They're going, I got to get a job. A lot of them are employed, but they don't have the job, and some of them don't want to go to college, and so I could use this, to help my seniors. So what were some interview tips?
Yeah, so I believe we gave them 8 tips. I don't remember exactly all of them off the top of my head, but a few of them were, there's a method called the STAR method. So you use this method whenever an interviewer would ask you a question about like what's a skill that they are looking for and what's a way you've used it in your past job. So, like, say they asked you what's a teamwork skill you use, right? At your past job, you use the STAR method. You would seek, so you would find you would try to think of a situation where you use that skill, and then the T stands for task, so you would find the tasks where you use the skill, and the A means apply, so you explain how you applied the skill, and R is results. So you would explain to your interviewer what the result was of you using that skill. So that's one method. It kind of helps you answer interview questions without getting confused or mixed up on it. And then
I like that STAR method, though. While you're thinking about that, I mean, it's just like, so somebody asks you a question that kind of catch you off guard, and you think, okay, just kind of think about what that is, and then the task that it involved, and then what was the A?
Sorry?
What was the A part?
It was apply.
Okay, so you got you figure out what task, you think about it, then how did you task it? How did it apply? And then the results. Okay. I like that. That's really cool. Because, I mean, I haven't had to interview for a ton of jobs, but, if you've never had to interview, man, it's intimidating. So that's really good. I like that. So.
Yeah. And then one of the other skills we taught them is, like, what to bring to an interview. Because a lot of times they don't just look at how you answer questions. It's also how you show yourself, right? The way you look, what you come with, and how much you look like you're looking forward to the job or stuff like that. You want to seem interested, right? So we taught them whenever you come, bring a pen and paper so you can write down your own things. Always come prepared with your own questions. An interview is more of a conversation between two people, right? It's not like you're just answering their questions. They want you to ask questions as well and be engaged and show interest, right? So we taught them to bring their own pen and paper, always come prepared with your own questions, and bring extra copies of your resume in case there's multiple interviewers. That way you can always reference it, and they're not just like looking in the sky and
Have
don't
to
know what you're
pass
saying.
it around, yeah.
Exactly.
And don't take your parents with you. And
No.
That's one of those silly things you see on that some people. And it's like, really, who would do that? But yeah, I don't know. But just the obvious things. But I'm just messing with y'all. But people just don't think about that kind of stuff. And anything else about your specific thing that you think we need to share right now? That anything you took away from your
No, but I'll add on to one thing we also did do is at the very end of it, a lot of people found our course to be very, they needed it. It was really important to them.
Cool.
So we sent out our slides and different things that we had done to those people so that they could use them and reference them as they're filling out resumes and different things. So we had people actually not only come to the course, they also wanted our materials afterwards so they could look back on it, and they took notes, and they all really enjoyed it and said that they loved it. So it was a really great time, and it was a good experience for all
good.
three of
You
us.
had good feedback from it. That's
Yes,
great.
ma'am.
Did y'all record all that good feedback so you can show it to you?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. There you go. That's what you do. So, okay, so let's pass the mic on down. So now you did the clothing and stuff. So, I mean, what kind of tips did you? I mean, you talked specifically about the different. And we're going to come to you, so be thinking about it. So, all right. So, I mean, specifically about the clothing, what's appropriate and that kind of thing. So, if you're applying for a job at Lowe's, it would be different if you're applying for a job at the hospital.
Exactly.
Right.
Correct.
And so, are jeans okay in any situation?
No.
Yeah.
One thing that I kind of focused on was dress for the job that you want. So, like I said, you rather be overdressed than underdressed in the situation. And I kind of went through the different types and then also kind of like what that entails. So, like, business professional is going to be like probably more of a suit, and that's going to be in industries like finance, government, law, those sort of things. And then business casual is going to be like an office, and you're still wearing a nice shirt and nice pants, but it's not as professional and dressed up as business professional. And then casual is obviously just going to be like what we're in right now, just jeans and a shirt. And
so the jeans would be okay there.
yes, but
In
it
the
just
casual,
depends.
But it's just
yes.
very, very okay. I got you. So, because that's the thing. I mean, if I'm going to go apply for a job at Lowe's, I would think jeans
Yeah.
would be probably okay. But that would probably be in those type or at Doris Feed Mill or something like that. Those kinds of things. It would be appropriate, but you've got
Yes.
to be real and those are just absolutely. I mean, you've got to very specific. You've got to make sure that if you're like mechanics, those kinds of things, you don't want to dress down and think the others are
Exactly.
okay. So no jeans. They don't let teachers wear jeans either. I don't know. Do y'all get to wear jeans at school?
Just on like special days.
Special
like
days.
Shirt days.
Okay. I'm talking to my friend, Miss Gatlin. She's here with her kiddos. She runs the DECA. She's the sponsor for the DECA program at Station Camp. And we go to church together. That's why she's in here. I can't begin to tell you how many questions I got about, why is Station Camp on the radio with you? And it's like, because she's my friend, and she asked, would you like to be on the radio? You can as well. So, but that's great advice. But I mean, that's the thing with teachers. We had some that have, started wearing them maybe more than they're supposed to. And they're like, no jeans. So, I mean, it's just, some people just do not want you to, you want to be more professional. So, very good. Anything else on your portion that you think you need to share? Okay.
No,
You've
it's
got pretty-
kind of subjective to whatever
Sure.
you're doing.
Yeah,
So,
very much.
and it's okay to like reach out to the recruiter that you've been in contact with when getting an interview, like what's appropriate to wear for this, that sort of thing. So you're prepared
Yeah.
and you're in the right attire. You don't want to be overdressed. It's good to be overdressed rather than underdressed, but you want to make sure that you're wearing the right thing.
Did you give them any kind of leads on how to find the proper clothing? Because that's one thing. If somebody needs a suit, not everybody has a suit, and not everybody can afford a suit. Did you make that part of your presentation? Like, here's some places you could reach out to if you need professional clothing?
We did not necessarily make that a point, but Jacob did say if they need help with anything
Gotcha.
related, he's a career coach at Wounded Warrior, and so
Okay.
if they need help with that, that's absolutely something that they can reach out to Jacob
So that's
for.
a good resource right there.
Yes.
So very cool. I like that. Because, I mean, that's a thing. And I know a lot of programs that will have clothes closets
Mhm.
for, professional development and those types of things. Very cool. Awesome. Okay, now it's your turn. Resume tips. What did you outline
Just
for 'em?
adding on to that real quick.
Uh-huh.
We also are partnering with Goodwill this year.
Oh, great.
So that's one
Yeah.
thing they will be able to help us with is if a veteran comes to us and needs help from us trying to find professional dress, that's something we can help provide for them as well through our partnership with Goodwill.
That's awesome.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's
And
really
you can find
nice.
some good stuff there, y'all.
Yep.
You really can. Okay, so as far as the resume writing tips, give me some specifics. What would be some, what the very basics?
Yeah, so I probably went over 6 or 7 main things to include on your resume.
Okay.
So the first one is being typical, like make sure your name's big and bold, include all sorts of different ways they can get in contact with you, your address, your phone number, a professional like Gmail, not like a Hotmail or Yahoo, like use a Gmail or like an iCloud. And then if you have like a LinkedIn, put that on there too so they can go in and find you there. And then definitely, if you have gone to some sort of educational schooling, whether you've only been to high school or not, still include that. If you got a degree, if you went to college, what degree would you major in, stuff like that. And then also if you have any certifications or skills that's relevant to the job you're applying for. So like if you are applying to be an electrician somewhere and you come from a military background and you worked with that kind of stuff while you're in the military, definitely include all those skills and certifications you got while in the military on there because that's relevant to the job. Even if you're not coming from the military and you still have some certifications or skills that is relevant to the job you're applying for, make sure to include those so your employer will see that. Another one that I went over is when you're putting your work history on there, whether you've only had 1 or 2 jobs, outside of high school, and just definitely make sure to include as much work history as you possibly can. Whether you're out of the military and all you have for workforce is the military, even if you had a job in high school, still put it in there, still try to include it. Because even if it's something simple as like being a lifeguard or something, your employer will still know, okay, he has experience managing like a pool or something. Was certified in CPR. He is responsible, anything like that, that they can see that you have dedication, you love to work, anything like that would be great to add. And then so two things that I said was kind of optional you could do, but definitely should if references. So if you can add references there, definitely make sure to add those. What I did for my layout of the resume is I didn't necessarily make a whole section of them because you want to use as much white space as possible for like your work experience. So what I did is have the title of the job that you have, and then like the company, but then off to the side next to that, put like a name and a number of like your reference right there. That way it doesn't take up too much space, but you still have that reference right there. And then obviously have that work history underneath it. And then like languages. So if you're bilingual, trilingual, you speak more than just English. This is really big for when you're applying to any sort of like construction field or something like that, where you will meet people with an Hispanic background and speak Spanish. And then, so that's very important to add if you do are bilingual. And then, but also add your level of fluency. So whether it's just elementary level, you're 50% bilingual, you know enough about the language, include that so your employer knows. And then back to workforce, make sure to be as specific as possible, but don't be too wordy. So just key bullet points with descriptions of what you did on that job while you were working it. But definitely be specific. Make sure you're obviously grammar, spelling, everything's perfect, great. And then just utilize as much white space as possible. You don't want to have a bunch of white space blank because again, you want your employer to see all that you're capable of, all that you've done. And then, but also back to the layout, just make sure it's clean, simple, but professional. So a lot of times I'll see resumes where it's like it's centered font, and so it's a bunch of like uneven lines where it goes like short line, long line, short line, and it's just kind of like that all the way down the middle. So the kind of template that I gave them was like your name and so I'll use this piece of paper for example. It's like your name and information was in this corner right here. You had your education, skills, certifications, maybe your languages right here, and then practically this whole right side was for all of your work experience.
Okay.
And so that's
a different layout.
That's kind of the layout I gave them.
Kind of almost like a 2 columns kind of thing.
Almost.
Interesting. I haven't seen
that
resume
left
like
side's
that.
a little bit smaller of a column, so you have more space for your work experience. And that kind of gives them a clean design. They know where everything's at, easy to find, and it's just simple, clean, but professional at the same time.
Well, and you mentioned it. You seem like you're telling them to put it on one page, and that's something that I have really seen. people that come in with these several page. Sometimes you do have to have multiple pages, I suppose. But people want a one-page resume.
Right.
People are just, because we're so digital. I think people are just over paper. That don't give me a stack of paper to go through. Keep it simple, keep it concise. Distill it down for me. So, did you advise them one page, one page, one page?
That's what I would stick to, like you said. And I don't think employers really want to have to read through a packet.
Right.
But I do want to make sure they include as much work history as they can. So if they do need to bleed over to a second page, to include, because if you do have a bunch of different important jobs that are like past work experiences that are relevant to the job you're applying for, definitely should include them. So if you have to bleed over to another page just a little bit, it's not bad. But I definitely don't just have a big packet full of so many things that is all over the place. But if you stick to that simple, clean design, they have all the information they need, more than enough. But it's all sticking to one page. So.
Very good, very good. So what's next for you guys? So you've had your initial conference. You've got some more of those planned, I'm guessing. So how's this structure go? We'll hand it off here.
Yeah. So after our virtual session had ended, we had stayed in contact with Jacob to try to get an in-person session managed out. We were going to try and host it somewhere, either in our library or in our DECA classroom. We weren't sure yet. So we're working on getting that. That's in progress. We're also in partnership with our local VFW in VVA. So we go there every Saturday, and recently we started donating to them also by bringing eggs or milk, different things that they need. Right. Actually, I believe people can also donate to them in our DECA chapter for leadership points. But we go there and we help with them, and we get more outreach through them to try and come to our in-person workshops or virtual workshops as well. But we are also looking to help them rebuild their garden and just continue to help them out. So those are the main two things we're currently working on. Other than that, we also had the career fair that we're trying to get set up as well. So
Goodwill.
Yeah.
Oh, good deal.
So we're trying to get that set up, and during our next in-person workshop, and if we have a third one after that, we don't know if it's going to be in-person or virtual or not, but we're going to let those people know about the career workshop, because like Emma had mentioned earlier, we don't necessarily get people the job interviews, but we get them connected to people who can get them the job interviews.
Right. Very good. Have y'all thought about, and you got Veterans Day coming up, are y'all going to do anything in association with Veterans Day since you are working with veterans?
Yes, ma'am. So we had, I believe we had talked to somebody earlier in the school year about trying to do something for the Veterans Day program that our school puts on. So maybe if that's going out there and just saying something about our DECA project or something small like that.
Sure. Just presenting it and letting them know, because there'll probably be some veterans around. I know at our school we have veterans come in and do a panel, so that may be there, and just make them aware of it.
Yeah, we don't usually get a whole lot of veterans who come to our thing at school, so we are just going to try to invite as much people from the VVA and VFW to come, and so we can show our school support for them as well.
So you guys are in school on Veterans Day. Some aren't,
Yes, ma'am.
and I think that's good. So I think your teacher's got something for you to talk about. Yes, she's messaging some notes, because that's one thing too, and this is something that our director of schools a couple of years ago, at the time, Dr. Causey said, they're like, why are you in school on Veterans Day? He goes, because we think we'd rather have the kids there so we can talk to them about what the significance of Veterans Day is, rather than just giving them a day off. You want to say something, Emma?
Another thing that we're working on and is kind of in the works, we're about to start filming some educational videos that we can give to Jacob and make a private YouTube link that we can send out and have that as a resource. So Jacob did video he kind of like screen recorded our session. We couldn't see everyone because we had our screen shared. So he kind of moderated that for us, and he sent that out to them, like Jesse said, as a resource. But another thing we're wanting to do is to create about 7 to 10 videos that we can use on different, how to lay out a resume, what applies for business attire, where to get it, interview tips, that sort of thing that we can use and send out as a resource for them to help them out even more.
You guys are real resourceful with your videos. That's what I teach, is audio video production. Do you do all the video in-house with DECA, or do you get your audio video people involved there at the school?
No, it's just mainly on our own time at home. We'll get together and do it ourselves. But we do have resources at the school, like our chemistry teacher. He does like the Bison News, so I'm gonna reach out to him sometime this week and see, because they have a huge green screen, all the cameras, and I was gonna ask him if we could use that to used as a video, so we got this green screen, but like we're also in there pointing to the board, so like, then
Cool.
they can see, what we're talking about. So,
So your chemistry teacher does that?
yep, he's the tech guy at school. He's
Oh, how funny.
yeah,
And so he does your, okay.
He's a chaperone on a lot of a lot of DECA trips too. So
Okay,
so
well, that's
he's all
cool.
about it. So
Very cool. Very cool. Are we missing anything? We're just about out of time here. Anything that
so-
y'all want to add before we wrap up our time?
yeah, just the biggest problem that we've seen since starting this project is a lot of the younger crowd of veterans who are 20s,
Yeah.
30s, early 40s, aren't really looking for help. So our biggest problem has been the outreach reaching those veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're at the VFW every Saturday volunteering from 9 to 11, it's mainly just helping struggling veterans who are retired and still need that help. And then the veterans who are there are also just retired. So Jacob has been a big help because he has that big network of helping us reach our target market of those 20, 30, early 40s age who are still in the workforce, who aren't retired yet and are still looking for more jobs. So he's been a big help with that, helping us make those connections and reach those veterans. So
It's a great idea because that's one thing. When my son came out of the military, he says it's so weird because you spend all those years and you're so used to everything just going do this, do this, do this, do this, and all of a sudden it's like it's gone. You have that structure, and that structure that you have in the military is just gone. And a lot of them really struggle. He fortunately on the GI Bill went straight into school and never missed a beat, but he had a lot of friends that really came out and it was almost disorienting to them. And so this is a good plan, guys. This is a really good
Thank you.
program. So anything else before we wrap up here?
I just wanted to say thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
and
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's
Y'all made the drive in from Sumner County. Are you kidding me? I appreciate you getting here because you had to get up early to do that for sure. So very good. Any parting thoughts before we head out?
No, I just want to say thank you as well.
You're very
We appreciate
welcome.
it. Yes,
Very
ma'am.
welcome. Very excited for you guys. And again, okay, Greenbrier, don't give me a hard time. Y'all can come in too. These are my friends, so from church. But it's very nice to see you guys. Good luck with your competition. That's coming up, right?
Yes, ma'am.
When's your first competition?
so states in February. So
Yeah, it's coming up. So you'll probably see some of my kiddos there too. So anyway, good luck. God bless y'all. I know you're going to do fine. Thank y'all for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Gatlin. It's good to see y'all. Y'all be safe, okay?
Yes, ma'am. You have a good
God
day.
bless you. All right, now we got to give everybody little Jesuses. This is a Christian broadcast company, so there we go. Everybody
sweet.
gets little
Thank you.
Jesuses. Here we go. There you go. There you go, dear. God bless you guys. Y'all take care. Bye-bye. And with that said, we're going to let Ron Pulley's back in the house with United Way. So he's going to make his way on in here. And while they're transitioning out and he's transitioning in, oh my goodness, let's talk about my friends, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. You know who I'm talking about. I got to have a conversation with him yesterday. Just talking to him about my friend from Ukraine who they're going to try to help mentor because she was a realtor in Ukraine. And so I'm really excited and really anxious to see how that's going to work out and just see if there's some kind of an avenue to help her out because as I was talking to her this weekend, it doesn't look like they're going back to Ukraine anytime soon. So it's one of those things that, if they can give her an avenue, she's making pizza, she's enjoying what she's doing, she's happy to be here. But, she would like to do the kind of more professional things she was doing in her homeland in Ukraine. So they're going to talk to her and see if they can help her out. If you're somebody that wants to get into real estate, you need a mentor, and that's something that Barry and Rebecca really specialize in and love to do. They want to bring you in, and they'll introduce you to the Exit team. Exit Prime Realty is the name of the branch in the Exit tree that they started up whenever Barry opened a brokerage office here in Springfield, and you took Rebecca's agency office in White House. They combined the two to continue with Exit. They were part of the Garden Gate team forever and ever, but they wanted to kind of do their own thing. And so they're still with the Exit company. It's a great company to work with. And you'll find that if you just talk to them, and whether it's something that you want to be a realtor or if you're buying or selling property, you're older and you want to downsize. Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a senior real estate specialist. Barry is an expert in marketing. He's knows all about videography, photography, drone footage, walkthrough tours, all of those things. I actually called him with a camera question yesterday and asked him about some settings on my camera because I'm a new photographer and I need people to mentor me in that. So he helps me with that. And having a marketer on your team when you're trying to sell property, guys, it's priceless. It makes all the difference in the world. They specialize in Robertson County properties because they're cross-Polanians, been here for nearly 30 years, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky because, like me, they're from Kentucky and they've lived all over. So reach out to them today. Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty. You can call Rebecca at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Or sellwithbecky.com, buy, B-U-Y, robertsoncounty.com, all the ways to get in touch with them. And please always let them know. Mr. Rob
campaign trail, the fundraising campaign trail. Yes, ma'am. So this is our busy time of year. So they've had us running, and it's a good thing. Means we're getting in front of a lot of employees and talking to a lot of companies and letting people know the services that are available in their area. So it's part of our job in addition to raising those funds.
Very good. Yeah. And we love talking to United Way because they are the bridge builder to the nonprofits, and we love our nonprofits. And if you aren't involved in United Way and you're like, well, I don't know, we've got a great one here in Robertson County. You guys do such a great job. It's been such a pleasure to work with you guys. And the fundraising campaigns, I mean, what would you tell somebody if, and I know the answer, but I'm just going to go ahead and ask you, if I'm small, it's like, I really want to get involved with United Way. I've heard some stuff, but I'm just a small company and I really can't do a lot. Is there any way that I can do it? Because I hear about all these great big, we talk a lot about HCA because they have employed 2 of my sons. I love that company so very much. But they're a great partner with you guys.
Sure, absolutely.
So what can the little mom and pops do, Brian?
We've been around for over 100 years in the greater Middle Tennessee area. We currently serve 9 counties. And I would say, yes, the bigger companies are a big part of what they do just because of the resources, the number of employees, the number of corporate dollars that we can get from them. Yes, that they are very important to what we do. But in my opinion, the backbone of what we do are some of the smaller businesses that we've worked with for a long time that those $1 a week off their paycheck contributions throughout the area, those add up over time. And so if you want to get involved in a small business, there's many ways. First of all, like I said, our bread and butter are our corporate campaigns. That's what we've done for 100 years. We go out, we come into your company. We will tell you about all the services that we provide in that area. Your employees can then decide whether they want to give to United Way or if they want to designate directly to one of our partner agencies or a nonprofit that's near and dear to their heart that they want to support. That still counts towards your corporate campaign. And so we encourage all of that. Obviously, we'd love for everybody to give to United Way because we feel like our community impact team vets out the partner agencies as good as anybody and make sure the money is getting exactly where it needs to go to have the greatest impact in the community. But we want people, if they want to give directly to a partner agency, we can facilitate that as well. So that's the first way you can do it. Second, if you just want to do a donation, that's great. We can accept those. If you want to donate to something specifically, we have our focus areas that we can talk to you about. If you just want to get involved, and that's what's going on right now with our Give Thanks program. It's a day of action. And so you can just get involved. You can Give Thanks. We collect food boxes for families in Middle Tennessee for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, not just a Thanksgiving meal. And it will feed a family of 4 for the entire weekend. And as we know, when the kids are out of school, the costs of groceries being what they are, it just puts an extra burden on a lot of our families who may be on shoestring budgets in general. And so we're just trying to help them out a little bit here around the holidays and also provide a nice Thanksgiving meal. There'll be a $25 gift card in there in addition to all the groceries. If you're interested in that, you can do that. You can do a collection right there on site. You can go with your church group, your Girl Scouts, whoever you want to do, and go shop for groceries. If you just want to donate financially, you can do that as well. And if you just want to volunteer, we can put you in charge. We can plug you in there. So if you want to get involved in your community, basically your small business, we can figure out something that works for you. It's not, to me, and I know other fundraisers be like, what are you talking about? It's not always about raising dollars. I mean, I know that's what we have to do, but we just want people involved. We want people engaged. We want people helping their community. We're all trying to make this place a little bit better, right? That's our goal. It's just like the community that we live and work in and our kids go to school in and, we're raising our families. We just want it to be a little bit better place. We want to be able to help our neighbors. And for those of us that are Christians, we want to be the hands and feet of Jesus and what He wants us to do.
Get a little Jesus.
Yes, ma'am. There you go. I've been giving them. I gave some of these to my mom. She loves them. I'm sure she's given several out. So she thinks it's fantastic. So, but we just want to help our community. And so, Yes, we need to raise funds to do what we need to do because things cost money and buildings cost money and for our services and goods and all the things that we do to serve our community cost money. But we also, if you just want to get involved, you want to volunteer, you want to help, we can facilitate that. And between Catherine and I, we'll work with you to make sure that we're getting you engaged. From an employee standpoint, it's been proven that if your employees are engaged and getting volunteer opportunities, your retention rates are higher, you have less turnover, and you have an overall happier workforce. And if you don't believe me, go talk to somebody that has a real program as far as letting their employees volunteer and structure, and go check on their turnover rates and see how they're doing. People want to work for companies that support their communities. They want to feel good about where they work. They want to feel good about what they can do, and getting some time within that makes them feel good about going to that place of work. So people can work a lot of places, as we know, but if they feel good about the company they work for, they're more likely going to stay.
And that's one of the things I talk about HCA a lot because I've got 2 kids that work there, and that is something that I think really struck them right out of the gate is how that they are involved, and they're like, yeah, we're actually going and cleaning up after a storm or something, but I'm on the clock. It's not a PTO day. They're just there, and the company's like, yes, go. And there was a question raised there. My son, they want him to come and be on the veterans panel. And he was like, yeah, I would love to do that. He goes, and they might just let me do that. And that's the kind of company, when you're working for a company like that that's involved in the community, they love it. They just love the company.
Yeah.
And that is a big piece of it.
There's a big piece of it.
They talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
And
it's your culture. You're creating your culture, not just the way you do your work, but the type of people you want involved in your place. Everybody always talks about Chick-fil-A and how great the service is and how they've created a culture there.
Yes.
And so when I go in these companies, I can be in there 10 minutes and I can give you a decent read on how the culture is. And there's little signs you see when you go in enough of these places, you kind of see. And the ones that are doing it correctly, what I found, I've been doing this 5 years now, every single year I go back there, I usually am seeing the same faces. They don't have people leaving. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't have a lot of turnover. People are happy in their positions. They're working hard. They believe in what they're doing. They're working hard on the corporate side, but they also want to be involved in their community. And so the places where the culture might not be great and they're kind of doing it because we have this initiative come down and we've got to do something this year. And you can tell they're not kind of doing it begrudgingly. We'll still work with them because, if it's going to benefit the community, we'll do whatever. And then we hope we can grow them into somebody that wants to do it. But what I found with those companies, the next year if I go back, it's a whole different group of people, and you know what I mean. It's just there's not a great culture within that company, and so part of that, I think, the foundation of it is people want to be involved in their community. They want to the place where they work. They want it to be a little bit better. The place they live, especially, they want it to be a little bit better.
I love it.
Yeah,
making a difference, guys, and you can be a part of it.
Yeah.
So when does the fundraising campaign, is there like an end date?
We raise money all year, but for me, traditionally fall has been our fundraising season. Now we do have companies based on their schedule because some companies are really busy in the fall, and so they'll do stuff early in the year. But typically the fall is it, and so we'll wrap up. After Thanksgiving, they kind of taper off because people really don't want to do a lot of stuff in December because they're trying to wrap up their year and holidays. People are out until all kinds of stuff. Kids are getting out of school. But we will have a few, kind of straggle into December a little bit. And then at the end of the year, we typically close it down. January and February, we'll spend planning for the upcoming year, but also making sure that accounting stuff and getting money in and all that stuff you deal with from the campaign the prior year and tying up any loose ends that year. So the next 6 weeks for us is really kind of our key time. Generally it's October and November or I would say our 2 prime months. We have a lot in September too, but for most of us, October, and myself included, October and November are key months. And then that's when people traditionally have raised money. And then we also have like I said, our Give Thanks program, which will be coming up the second week of November. So we've got, it's different for every county. So we're going to do it all throughout our 9 counties, but we'll be collecting and getting all of our boxes in and distributing to our partner agencies in the area around that time. We want to get it the week before Thanksgiving to make sure they have everything so that they can get them distributed out to the folks in their community.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question is, okay, so I want to do that again with my grandkids. So when do I need to take them shopping? When do you need them at United Way? I mean, here locally.
Sure.
When do you need them in your possession?
Yeah, we ideally we would like the week of November 11th is the week we're shooting for, and so we're trying to get everything in that week. The big distribution day is going to be in Nashville on the 12th. Because some of those will be distributed out into the counties because that's like our hub, that's our main. But we also have smaller drop-off points, like for instance here in Springfield or Clarksville, down in Williamson County. So we have little satellite drop-offs as well. We will accept them at our office here in Springfield, 105th Avenue West, right on the corner of 5th and Main. You can just drop them off right there to me. Contact me directly. If you want to set up a drop-off time, I'm out a lot this year, but I'll be glad to meet you, or I'll be glad to come pick them up. If you're not able to get out. I know we have some church groups and we've gone and picked up for them before. So it's 615-780-2401, 615-780-2401. Be glad to help you however we can. If you have questions about it, we did Good Morning Robertson County with the Chamber last week. And promoted this, and we put out. There's a shopping list.
That was the next question.
And
You're just hitting
I'm
them,
on
boy.
it. It's like we've done this. It's like we've done this before.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I can post that up under the link for the show today. And it's really easy. It just goes through and gets you everything that you need for the box. So
And
we
you
try to
got a
make it
gift
simple as
card.
possible.
The gift card,
$25
yeah.
gift card.
Really, just 25 is still? I thought we were going to raise it.
I think it was either 25 or 30. Let me double check. I've said 25 for 5 years, so it may be 30
because we talked a lot
stuff
about
has gone
it
up.
maybe needing to go
Hey,
up.
if you want to do a higher one, that would be. But
Yeah.
it's either 25 or 30. I will double check it, and we prefer Kroger or Walmart because most of our communities have one of those two stores, and so for access for people.
Public.
No, it's just a lot of communities don't have those,
Yeah.
and most have a Walmart. Even ours, because we're looking like we got folks. I mean, the stuff that's collected here will be right here in Springfield, and obviously we have both of those here. But for folks we got folks in Hickman County and some of these even further reaching counties, it's even more sparse as far as the food, grocery options that they have in their area. So we're just trying to be aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we appreciate, we appreciate our Walmart and Kroger here. I mean, they do so much for the
Yeah.
community, and so those are great places to do. But we did it last year. We took the kiddos with us, took the grandkids, and got our box. And now, did you want us to pack them in the boxes? Because I know when we originally started this, we did totes.
Because it was COVID time.
The banker boxes.
The banker boxes are preferred because we can stack those a little better and for transport. But I promise you, we'll take them however they come.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everything in between. If they're in sacks, we'll figure it out, and we'll have extra boxes on our deal. So if you're not able to access a box, don't let that stop you. Just get the groceries, and we'll figure it out. If you just want to take up some supplies and you don't have enough for a box, we'll take those as well because we'll need some because
Fill
in because some people just, it happens to forget something, and so we want to make sure all the boxes are complete. And then in the end, whatever we have extra, we'll just be donating to United Ministries directly.
Sure.
And Sherry can use those goods, I promise you. And if you're late, again, we'll take these. It's not a cutoff time. Like we'll take them. The need does not end, right? Just because Thanksgiving hit. We'll distribute. Typically, we've distributed things in December as well because we'll have things come in afterwards. I promise you, Sherry needs those things in December as well. So, yeah.
I mean, that's one
Yeah.
thing.
So if you've got stuff, or if you're late, it's, I meant to do that, but I'm going to be out of town or whatever. Just call us. We'll work with you, and I promise you we'll get them to the people that need it the most.
And it's a lot of fun going with your little ones.
Yeah,
Figure
highly encourage.
My local grandkids, I've got one that's just about to turn a year old, but they're in Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones here, I've got 8 and 4-year-old and 2-year-old, and we had so much fun with the 2 older kids filling that cart last year. It was a little chaotic. I had forgotten what it was like shopping with little ones. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun.
It is
And they'd be
fun.
like, well, you put this in, they want this too. And
Yeah.
like, why not? Sure.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun. So I really encourage you if you've got some little ones, and it just teaches them that heart of giving.
Exactly.
Very early on. It's the same reason why you give them, even though most of us give digital, or a lot of us give digitally in our churches now, you still want to put that money in your kid's hand to put in the plate because it's just that physical act of giving that just really, starts something in them early on. You just can't, you can't start too young with that stuff. So
The best question you'll get asked on that: why are we doing this? Why? Who are we giving this? Why are we giving this? It's giving you an opportunity to teach them why we're doing it. And you know, for us at least to share that as Christians, you know what I mean. We're taught to help those to not look down on anyone, but to reach down to give a hand. You know what I mean. And so you can teach your kids early why you do it, and why we're called to do stuff like that. So
You know, and United Way, it's all over. This is one thing that we were talking about, I guess, right after the hurricane, is that United Way is a good way to make sure, because y'all have United Way in the areas that were devastated.
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
And so, have y'all heard any specifics on that? Anything?
It's ongoing. It's gonna be a long process.
Long
I call personally because you know that part of the state is near and dear to my heart. I've been going to Knoxville since I was a little big boy to go to ball games up there and have friends up there, and I love that area. And we go vacation up there, and it's one of the prettiest places I think in the country, and just broke my heart, obviously, to see all that, what was going on. And so I called the United Way that's local. Knoxville was facilitating a lot of it because the United Way that's directly at least for Tennessee, that's the one I was looking for. And I know that was a little different for North Carolina, but it was the same concept. And so I called them and talked to them personally and just told them I work with United Way in Nashville, and because I had companies contacting me as well. It's like, how can we help? How can we help?
What can we do?
And so early, they said that finances was the main thing, because they're just trying to accumulate funds, because what they're doing is the same thing we'd be doing here. They're working with their partner agencies that are boots on the ground already and are already moving to get funds so that because there's obviously extra need coming in, and so that they can do what they need to do. So that was the primary early, and that's still what I'm telling people down the road. Because everybody's like 2 weeks after it's over, it's like, oh, it's done, we're fine.
No.
This is going to be a long process. They're going to need volunteers. They're going to need those supplies. They're going to need you to keep showing up. And so I would recommend going to the United Way of Greater Knoxville's website. Is a great resource. They're updating, and they have a disaster relief right there on the top. You just click it, and it's being updated as far as what's needed. The one I contacted was in United Way of Greater Highlands, I think, which was kind of right in that area, and talked to a really nice lady on the phone. She went through everything. And so, you know, I just wanted to make a personal contribution, but I was asking, is there anything else you need? For right now, finances was the main thing. Everybody wants to give water, and I know they want to do things, but it's, where are we going to house it? Like, think about if a disaster at Robertson County, God forbid, and people just poured in resources. First question would be, where are we putting all this stuff?
Yep.
Like, you know, when you have that. So I've learned a lot working with Hands On, used to be Hands On Nashville, about disaster relief and the process it is. And like, we all want to help right away because we're volunteers. It's a volunteer state. Like, we want to jump in, and I'm very proud to say that. But there's a process. And so that's why I call it, like, what is needed now? And so all of this stuff you want to do, you want to go cut down things and remove, they're going to need all that. I promise you. But right now they were just trying to at that time, this was right when it happened, they were trying to save people's lives because it was that dire. And so, but I would, United Way of Greater Knoxville, go their website. They have disaster relief, and they're updating, and they have local agencies. There's a lot of people doing good work up there. And so if you're curious, I would direct you there.
And they're going to be having to rebuild complete communities.
Yeah.
I mean, communities. We had the gentleman that is with our emergency management services was in here with like the ambulances, and we donated. Robertson County donated an ambulance. I think you knew that.
I did.
And just to hear him talk about this woman that worked at the hospital standing on top of the hospital and seeing that her house was gone, and then seeing like a cousin or something that just built a new house, the new house floating away. It's just, it's breathtaking. And I know in tornado situations, it completely wipes it out too. Flood situations are usually different. We went down to after Katrina in New Orleans, and we would clean out houses because the structures were still there. So many of these structures are gone. So it does almost have the effect of flood and tornado, just completely wiped out. And it's
just whole communities, little towns.
Breathtaking. It's just breathtaking. And the loss of life, I don't think they yet have really grasped how many lives were lost.
Yeah, because they're up in the mountains up there, and it's hard to get to those places anyway. And it's just it's going to be a long process. And that's just an example. Is like we supporting our neighbors there, and I promise you, if something happened around this area, there'll be people from there coming up here. So we need to help, and there'll be plenty of opportunities to help. And if you didn't get a chance to do anything, I promise you, it's a long process.
Coming up on the holiday.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be, we had the tornadoes, in my hometown that came through right before the holidays. And that was something that was just wonderful, is how people just really circled around those kiddos and just flooded them with, the toys and Christmas and all of those things. And it was a beautiful time.
It is.
It was a very difficult time, but it was a beautiful
Right.
time. The way everybody came together. I'm just kind of do a little teaser on the show here. Adam Pope is going to be on tomorrow for Faith Friday, and if you don't know Adam, he and his bride, they're local music. They're just wonderful. Do you know Adam Pope?
I know the name sounds very familiar, but I'm not sure if I know him. Yeah.
Adam and Amy Pope, they're just wonderful. And they perform all over the country. He wrote a song, The 500-Year Flood, because he's come from that area, and it's very dear to him, and it's just really a heart-wrenching song. And I think somewhere in North Carolina, wanted him because he's been discovered on TikTok and all these kinds of things, and they had him come out and perform that at a memorial a couple of days ago. So he's going to come out and talk about his experiences that he witnessed. So we'll have him in here tomorrow, and kind of he'll give you a little bit of an update on what this, what some of the latest things are, because he's coming in from having just been there like yesterday. So we're going to have Adam
That's
in here
awesome.
tomorrow, but he's going to be talking specifically about that tomorrow.
That's great.
So he might have some more insight as what you can do, because everybody's like, what can we do?
What can we do? And I'm saying, because I think too, there's there's a lot of misinformation out there. So you just want to make sure you're doing the right thing, and we all want to help. And so, but how can we help the most? So I would love to hear that myself. Just to, somebody that's been there, like what's needed. You know what I mean? Because and I'm sure it's going to change. Continuously. It's a great thing you brought up about the holidays coming up, because like when you talk about people's house, their whole town was wiped out. You know what I mean? So so how can we make sure that a lot of those families, and especially the kids in that area, at least have some it's not going to be the same. Obviously, this year's going to be a different holiday season, but make sure that they have a Christmas and one that kind of wrap our arms around a little bit and give them some love. So that's something that we need to look into from a United Way standpoint as well, that we may be able to help with.
And a lot of them are displaced into family homes, maybe in different cities,
sure.
where they've gone in and moved in with cousins or something. Because I know that happened a lot in Mayfield. It's like you had some that didn't have anybody local. They were in hotels for months.
Right.
The hotels were just overwhelmed. But a lot of them were, going and staying with mom and all that.
What if your whole family lived in that community too? Y'all are all dealing with this. Your support system is their house is gone too.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a long haul.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about this one. I found one story where there was this one little community up on top of one of the mountains, and they have their homes and everything. But of course, the infrastructure, all the power lines are gone. And they were telling them at least 6 months, possibly a year, before they would restore power to the area. So Samaritan's Purse came in and said, what's your number one, give us your what your number one needs are. And the first thing they said, generators. We need generators.
Yep.
And the woman was saying that if they run those conservatively, just a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the afternoon, you're talking probably $450 a month per generator. And they asked them, well, how many do you need? And I said, we don't know. Maybe let's start with 50. And they came in 4 per pallet, and they brought them into the community. And, I'm sure they had to fly them in, and they got them there, and they ended up with 52. And that's exactly how many they needed.
He does something.
Yeah.
Cool. That is cool.
That was just God.
Oh, yeah.
He knew how many we needed.
Yeah.
So they came 4 to a pallet.
Yeah.
So let me do a break real quick, and then we'll
Yeah.
wrap it up. Anything that you have that you need to continue with?
I got a little news to share afterwards.
Okay.
Good news. So
Awesome. Well, that sounds good. Well, let's talk about some other good news. And I want to talk about Veterans Motorplex at the Rim. Confirmed some things with Jerry. He's a busy man, hard to pin down. I tease him when I talk about him. I'm like, well, if Jerry answer my call, no, I'm kidding. Or get him to, the best way is text him, honestly. And I text him the other day. I said, I need to know, when is what time trunk or treat? What time are we doing trunk or treat? And he goes, pretty sure 6:30. But I get there about 6 because I think that if you got kiddos that want to have an opportunity to trunk or treat from race cars, come on, that's so fun. But they do this every year. So he's thinking about 6:30, they'll do the trunk or treat. Gates open at 4:30, so get on in there. Racing will start at 7:30. They got a big weekend of racing coming up, just tons and tons of stuff. 50-lap Pure Stocks, 30-lap Ridge Runners, 50-lap Sportsman, 30-lap SRM Pro 4 Series, 55-lap late models, 20-lap Big Dogs, 30-lap LS Pro Stocks, and 20-lap Scrapers. Again, I don't know what all that means, but sounds like a good time. And you can take your entire family for $40 unless you have more than 6 kids. You can get up to 6 kids and 2 adults in for a $40 ticket price. Dress them up in their Halloween best, and they get to trunk or treat from the race cars. around 6:30. You're going to have a ball. It's a good time. If you've not been to the races at the old Highland Rim Speedway, you don't know what you're missing. They have reinvented it. And I also got confirmation from him. Yes, they are going to try to race a little bit in November. I figured they would. They're hoping to race through mid-November because they got a late start to their season. So racing season, not over this weekend. Got a couple of more weeks, but you really want to be out there this weekend. It's going to be a big time. They are at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. The number to call if you want to call out to the track, 615-430-3135, 615-430-3135, and let them know that you turned sent you, and we sure do appreciate it. All right, big news. What's
Sit in this chair with me a lot. Maybe come back to work with us at United Way. So, yes. I think the news is out now. I think I can share that. Ace is coming back to work with us on. She's going to be managing community impact for all of the outer counties.
Are you kidding
basically,
me?
Doing what her boss's job was doing when she used to work here. So
my gosh.
we've had our CEO is retiring, Brian Hassett, who's been to United Way of Greater Nashville for 40 plus years. He's amazing. Probably the best boss I've ever worked for. Is well-deserved retirement at the end of this year. And so our community impact director who managed the whole department is going to be our new CEO, Erica Mitchell. Very excited about her. And so Ace's former boss is taking her job as to manage all of community impact for United Way. So there's an opening she was managing the county. So Robertson, Cheatham, Dixon, like all of kind of the outer, they call them outer counties. It's just not Davidson County because Davidson's its own entity because it's so big. And so she will be coming back, I think, here in a week or two.
So she's going to come in, hang in?
I don't know if she might be too big time for that now.
No, chick.
And I don't know if I spoiled that, but I'm excited for our community. First of all, I'm excited. She's a friend. I'm excited to work with her again because she brings a lot of energy and great ideas, obviously. But we're just excited in general that I think it's going to be great for all of us.
That photographic memory that just freaks us all out.
I get my Google back. I say, hey, I forgot. What is this? And she just tells me.
It's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch when she's just sitting there and you can see that she's kind of reading it in her brain. And it's like, that's so crazy.
I went over there. She bought some Girl Scout stuff from my daughter's Girl Scout troop. And went over there and we were talking when she was sharing it with me, and I'd heard the day before. I didn't know if she was going to play coy with me. We were talking about it, and I did remind her. I said, "You do know we work in different departments, so I do not work for you. Let's go ahead." It was a joke. It was a joke because we worked so closely for years. But anyway, very excited to have her back. It's going to be great for our community. I know she's got some awesome ideas of things we can do. So just a good deal for our organization. So we'll see if we can get on her calendar to get her in here at some point. So.
Awesome. Well, that takes us right up to the 8 o'clock, top of the hour, as we say in the industry. But we appreciate you being here. Thank you. So good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes. When I said hi, and I'll have to look at my calendar to see what your because you gave me a calendar.
We're both in next week.
You're both in next week.
I looked this morning.
Awesome,
We're both.
awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, we'll look forward to talking.
Yes, ma'am. Always.
And remind you again to check out Adam Pope tomorrow. He'll be in. He'll have just some great stuff, and we'll have live music here, and it'll be wonderful. And then today, Recovery Court graduation. It happens at noon. Get there about 11:30 if you possibly can. They'll feed us around noon, and it takes a couple of hours, but it's amazing to see this new life start for these folks that have been through recovery, and just an amazing program we have through Recovery Court. And we're going to be a part of it today at the center. And I do appreciate my administrator for making it where I can grab a sub about lunchtime and go over there myself. So
good. That's awesome.
It's a great program.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you guys for joining us. Thank you, Brian.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Always.
And this is, as always, 1100 WSGI.
You're down in the valley, struggling along, wondering if God remembers your name. You've been to your family, you've been to your friends.